Marketing in 2025 is wild. Savvy customers spot fake messaging instantly, privacy changes make ad targeting a nightmare, and everyone needs more content than ever. That's why you have to check out HubSpot's new marketing trends report. It doesn't just show you what's changing, it shows you exactly how to deal with it. Everything's backed by research, but focused on marketing plays you can use tomorrow. You ready to turn marketing hurdles into results? Go to clickhubspot.com/marketing to download it for free. Good morning, everyone. Today's Wednesday, March 19th. I'm John Weigell here with Rob Litterst, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Amazon's new budget-friendly e-commerce pet project, Amazon Haul, isn't really setting off any alarm bells. Although it's meant to try and take down Temu and Shein's US dominance, the platform has yet to make a huge impact early into its existence. So what's keeping Haul down, and what should be the growth plan going forward given tariffs and other obstacles that they're going to face? We'll chat about that in a bit, but first, let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. So starting us off today, we reported a few months ago that Google parent company Alphabet was really interested in buying cloud security startup Wiz. Well, the deal finally went through, and it's $32 billion, all cash. It is the biggest acquisition in Alphabet history. Wiz boasts about $700 million in revenue currently, and you got to imagine Google execs are trying to ramp that up. What do you think about this acquisition, Rob? It's huge.
This is wild. I mean, I am not going to pretend that I'm like a cloud security expert, but I've definitely heard of Wiz. I actually read a newsletter by Wiz's head of growth marketing, this guy, Tom Orbach, and it's one of the best newsletters that I've seen out there. Shout out, Tom.
Cool.
But this is a big deal. I think Google's been kind of like circling a bunch of different SaaS companies over the last year or so. And I think this one makes a ton of sense, especially given like Google Workspace and Google Cloud. This kind of like combination that they have there, I think could position Google really well to have this kind of like all-encompassing bundle for the kind of like startup, scale-up, small and mid-sized business crowd that isn't necessarily on like Microsoft's tools, right? So I think it's a really interesting play, and pumped for the team at Wiz. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's a huge buy. I mean, I think we first reported on this maybe like 3 to 4 months ago, maybe in late 2024.
Yeah.
So it seems like the deal finally got finalized. Yeah, the thing that I'm curious about here is because I've also been hearing a lot about how Chrome is under a lot of scrutiny right now and how there's an antitrust lawsuit to pull Chrome. So I'm wondering how that's going to factor into all this, because Google Workspace and Chrome just fit so well hand in hand. So that's another angle here that I'm curious about, but that will probably develop in the coming months.
Totally.
Next, are the answers you're getting from AI true? It's a big question, and recently an AI study from the Toe Center found that AI search engines are confidently wrong over 60% of the time when citing the news. According to the study, Perplexity answers 37% of its queries incorrectly, while Elon Musk and X's Grok 3 is incorrect 94% of the time. Those are some unfortunately big numbers, Rob.
I'm genuinely curious, like what questions people are asking these engines that they're getting them wrong that much. Because I use Perplexity all the time, and like I ask pretty simple questions and it gives me pretty solid answers. I think using any of these AI tools, I think really comes down to like how you're prompting and almost like bullshit proofing yourself from wrong answers.
Yeah.
You like really learn how to prompt. You'll see people who are like asking these engines to only consult high quality sources, right? And like pull back the sources and provide evidence. I think if you get really good at prompting, you can avoid these types of issues. But prompting, like anything else, is a skill. And I think like most people are used to just like typing whatever they want to know into Google.
Yeah.
And so it's going to take a while for people to get better at prompting these things and getting the actual answers they want.
Sure. And even with Google, a lot of the answers could be true to somebody, but not factually true. Like using Gemini, for example, typing up a search, sometimes I get some good results. And once in a while, those results include a Reddit thread of just people just talking about it. And the results like, yeah, people often think this. And I'm like, that's a weird thing to say after one person put up a post on Reddit about it. So it is very inconclusive right now. I do love using Perplexity and those modules, but at the same time, you got to take it with a grain of salt. And to your point, you got to get really good at prompting.
Totally.
From there, we go to some EV news. Tesla stock may be reeling this past week, but the sentiment is not the same for Chinese EV maker BYD. The company is seeing a stock breakthrough after announcing that it has new tech that can charge an EV in just 5 minutes, and that 5 minutes will go as long as 249 miles in range. Huge news for the EV market, Rob. It sounds like we're getting to the point where EVs can charge almost as fast as you could fill up some gas.
I have never heard of any EV company that's able to charge this fast. I'm not surprised that it's BYD at all. They also offer very, very inexpensive electric vehicles. I think there's some pretty insane tariffs on BYD so that it kind of gets rid of that discount if you were to try to bring them to the US. Not surprised that these guys are doing it. I think the availability for charging ports and how long it takes to charge are honestly like two of the biggest drawbacks of electric vehicles.
Yeah. Definitely.
I have not heard of any situation where you're able to charge an EV fully in 5 minutes. I think the closest to that I've heard is like 45 minutes or something like that. So this is like really impressive.
Yeah, it's a big time innovation. They're trying to break into, I know, Europe. It's really hard for them to break into the US for obvious reasons, but they're really trying to get this global. And, with innovation like this, to your point, it's a matter of time before the idea and the technology is maybe stolen.
Totally.
And finally here, Chick-fil-A is the latest fast food chain to hop on the sugary beverage bandwagon to win over customers looking for a bit of a treat. The chain is testing 2 new frozen desserts, Ice Dream Spin and Ice Dream Float, for a limited time at select locations. I mean, the sugary drink market is popping off, as we talk about all the time, Rob, so I'm not surprised by this at all.
It's so funny because if I look at my Twitter feed, it's like all anybody's talking about is health and Huberman and Brian Johnson and like living forever. But then Chick-fil-A is out there dropping the Ice Dream Spin and the Ice Dream Float. I am very excited to try this because I think Chick-fil-A does this right.
I've actually never had a shake at Chick-fil-A. I didn't even know it was an option until today.
Dude, their peppermint chip milkshake is delicious.
Wow. I'm a big mint chip ice cream guy.
Yeah, they're not messing around.
They say it tastes like toothpaste, but I like it. I love it.
Oh, dude. If that's the story, feed me the toothpaste. I love mint chip.
Give me the Colgate. Okay, on to our main story today. Amazon's new budget e-commerce shop, Haul, seems to be losing out to Chinese companies of similar ilk like Shein and Temu. So first, Rob, for anybody that doesn't really know Amazon Haul, can you explain it to me? What is it? When did it start?
Definitely. So Amazon Haul is the retail giant's attempt at offering low-cost products basically to compete with Chinese companies that are cut from a similar cloth, like Shein and Temu. These are like the types of products that you would expect to see on those apps, like t-shirts, clothes, lots of plastic, so like water bottles, sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
All those sorts of kind of kitschy, like kind of cheap fashion accessories and home goods and electronics. The big thing is Amazon Haul is mobile only, similar to these other products, and they are all priced at $20 or less. It launched in November of 2024, so they're a couple of years behind Temu and Shein.
Right.
But early days for Amazon Haul, for sure, and kind of a complicated story considering Amazon already has Amazon Prime, where they offer low-cost items just regularly because you can get anything on Amazon.
Yeah, this was a fascinating addition to the business when it came out in November because you can already get pretty cheap stuff on Amazon, but it seems like they really, really wanted to compete with Temu, who the price difference is a bit unmatched when comparing to Amazon proper. I haven't used Haul yet, haven't looked at the app, but if they're trying to go for that below $20 market, this seems to be their play. And how is it going?
Yeah.
Is it going okay for them?
It hasn't really caught much attention in the US. Despite Amazon's strong presence in the US, recent data from OmniSend showed that Haul has received a lukewarm response since its launch. One of the interesting things here is Amazon's already been pushing kind of into like grocery items and having kind of like one day and same day delivery on really cheap items. So they kind of have like a few irons in the fire here of like how they can sell these kind of like cheaper items to consumers. I wonder if they just looked at the market size for Temu and Shein and just thought that it would be worthwhile to at least kind of go after it and see if they could create some demand there on Amazon.
Yeah.
But so far the results have been pretty mid, John, if I'm using that word correctly.
Yeah, no, that is correct usage, I believe. What do you think is the comparison here percentage-wise? How many people are using Haul? How many people are using Temu and Shein? Is there a huge difference there?
So there's a survey done in February that revealed that 76% of respondents had not shopped on Amazon Haul in the past year. with only 16% using it at least once a month. On the same survey, Temu had 28% of shoppers shopping on their platform monthly, and Shein had 23% of respondents shopping on their platform monthly. So as you can see, I mean, these guys have had a 2-year head start. They've already kind of cemented their place in this budget shopping category with aggressive discounting and social commerce strategies. But what I like about Amazon is that they have this culture of experimentation. So like, even if this doesn't go right, it's just like another data point for them, right? It's like, okay, like we can try something else. And I think they foster a culture where, that's kind of what they do.
Right. Yeah. They might have lost the head start on this with Shein and Temu, but at the same time, they have such market dominance anyways, just in any kind of delivered good market.
Totally.
But I'm sure they're going to run into some problems now because most of the stuff that is going to be offered or is offered on Amazon Haul probably comes from production in China. So that is an issue here because Temu and Shein pull from that as well. But given the latest news on some tariffs coming down, this might be a bad time for this business. So it's a bit of a heads up, but I will say I think Amazon does have quite an edge in its delivery because nobody can match the 1-day delivery that Amazon has created for themselves. And the scary fast delivery there has to give them an edge in the future in this, I imagine.
Totally, dude. The logistical gymnastics that they have had to do, it's something that blows my mind all the time.
Same. So yeah, I mean, if they play to their strengths, I'm not sure how Haul will fare, but if they really push on that quick delivery and try to get that customer base to transfer to Haul from the Amazon platform for cheaper items, then maybe this might have a future. And it's still honestly too early to tell, I think.
Honestly. And I think it's like an interesting demographic shift because I think of like Shein and Temu as targeting kind of like a younger customer than Amazon typically would.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Amazon's target customer, if you're looking at the Prime membership, it's probably folks that are in their like late 20s, 30s, 40s, that kind of demographic. And those types of folks, I think like a lot of them do something similar to Temu and Shein at like TJ Maxx and Home Goods and like stores like that, right?
Sure.
Where like they go in looking for a steal, but like they actually do it in person. So like I wonder how many folks from that demographic are using Shein and Temu religiously. But yeah, maybe this is kind of like a data point that Amazon does have some catching up to do among younger demographics. But either way, cool experiment, definitely worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely worth it. 100%. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor is Robert Hartwig. Our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. Go subscribe at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We will see you tomorrow. So, if you're listening to this podcast, you are more than likely thinking about business ideas. Every entrepreneur has a million ideas vying for attention in their brain, and there's probably that one idea you can't stop thinking about. The one that came to you at 2 a.m. that you got up and wrote down somewhere. Well, I'm here to tell you that idea could be worth $5,000 right now. The Hustle and Indie Hackers are teaming up to find the next great founder and get them started with $5,000. All you got to do is record a 60-second video pitch telling us your business idea, how it makes money, and why it's awesome. One winner gets $5,000 cash plus promotion to millions of Hustle readers. Make sure you enter by April 4th at thehustle.co/bigbreak. That's thehustle.co/bigbreak. You can also click the link in the show notes of this episode. The winner will be announced on April 11th right here on the Hustle Daily Show, the Hustle newsletter, and on the Hustle's social accounts. Now get to pitching. Hey everybody, I've been listening to this awesome podcast lately. You know it, you love it. My First Million, hosted by Sam Parr and Sean Puri, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. My First Million features famous guests like Alex Hormozi, Sophia Amoruso, and Hassan Minaj, sharing their secrets on how they made their first $1 million and how to apply their learnings to capitalize on today's business trends and opportunities. Talk about somebody that's really in the now. They had on Mr. Beast recently, and Mr. Beast talked about his origin story and how he made his first $1 million and how you can make anything go viral if you really try to do it, which is a great listen. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. You can catch all the recent episodes whenever you want, and you can listen to My First Million wherever you get your podcasts.